Welcome to lesson 17 from 5-Minute Theory. We're going to learn about eighth notes. We know quarter notes, half notes, whole notes, and dotted half notes. But now we're going to learn a subdivision of the beat with eighth notes. So let's start off here by writing our name at the top of the page very quickly. Okay, it shouldn't take you 5 minutes to write your name in. All right, an eighth note. You can recognize an eighth note because it has a flag attached to the stem. So here is a quarter note, but an eighth note is going to have a flag. All right, or just a little curved line like that. Usually when we see eighth notes, especially right at the beginning, there are 2 eighth notes in a beat. So instead of each one having a separate flag, we draw this bar here that we call a beam. Okay? So an eighth notes that are connected together with a beam. All right, whenever I have quarter notes in quarter time, if I think about tapping my foot, each one of the numbers are going to be when my foot hits the ground. So in this measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, my foot hits down on each one of those counts, so I call those down beats. Now, in between those beats, if I have a down on beat 1, in between those beats is going to be an up. So when my foot hits the ground, it's down. When my foot's in the air, it's up. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, like Miss Pac-Man here, okay? So downs are the beat, and ups are called the upbeat. So another way that we count these whenever we're having eighth notes, whenever you see a pair of eighth notes, the first one falls on the downbeat, second one falls on the upbeat, we say and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if this is my beat, 1, 2, 3, 4, in between those beats are the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now there's a lot of different systems on how to count eighth notes. Some people say and, which I did when I grew up, so that's what I continue to do. A lot of people use the word te. 1 te, 2 te, 3 te, 4 te, 1 te, 2 te, 3 te, 4 te. Either one works. Te is actually great for wind players because it reinforces the tonguing of the eighth notes somewhat. Won't get into it, but anytime that I have quarter notes, those are going to, right now, fall on the downbeats. Anytime that I have eighth notes, the first one falls on a downbeat, or the number, and the second one falls on the upbeat, or the and, or te. Okay? So, in this number 1 here, I'm going to write the counts under the notes, and then I'm going to clap and count it while I tap my foot. Okay? So, first measure is simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Then I have a bar line because I'm in 4/4 time. The next one, anytime I have a pair of eighth notes, the first one falls on the downbeat. The second one falls on the upbeat. Now I'm going to put a plus instead of an and or a te, just to keep it universal here. So the first one is going to be downbeat. Second one is going to be the upbeat. Now I've got a quarter note on 2. Now, since it's quarter note, it gets an entire beat. So this is 3. The second eighth note is and. Quarter note is 4. So you see how every time I have a pair of eighth notes, the first one is a downbeat, the second one is an upbeat. Quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then 2 eighth notes, 1 and 2, 3, 4. So for right now, it's very simple. Quarter notes are just falling on the downbeats. So anytime I have quarter notes, I'm just clapping while my foot hits the ground for downbeats. Anytime that I have eighth notes, I'm going to clap and count both of those. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So let's do this measure by measure. In the first measure here, I just have 4 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's totally simple. If I'm tapping my foot while I'm clapping and counting, every time my foot hits is when I'm counting. All right? The second measure is a little bit harder because I have 2/8 notes first. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 2/8 notes and a quarter, 2/8 notes and a quarter. Now, what might be tricky is just the coordination that your foot has to hit on every downbeat. Don't play your foot on the 8th notes. So the foot is going 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So you just say the and, clapping the and in between those downbeats. The third measure, I have 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I'm clapping it, but your foot is hitting 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the upbeat is that second 8th note. And then the last measure, 1 and 2, 3, rest. Okay? Now, play your foot on the rest. Whenever you have a rest, your foot still taps. So what is consistent is your foot tapping on every beat all the way through, not tapping double time on the 8th notes. So let's see if we can get through this whole line, clapping and counting all the way through. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. And 4 is when I tap my foot, but I don't play my hands together. All right, so you got an overview of what 8th notes are like. Let's turn the page and look at the second half of lesson 17, which will do more exercises of clapping, counting, and drawing in bar lines. All right, line number 1. So anytime I have a quarter note, it's going to be on a number. So 1. Anytime I have 2/8 notes, the first one's on a number, the second one's on the and. And I'm going to write a plus sign. You can write an and, or you could spell tay, whichever. All right, next one, 3. And then, notice I'm in 4 times, so I keep going 4 and then I got to draw my bar line. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4, bar line. Rest on 1, 2, 3, and 4, bar line. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, double bar line. Okay, I have the blanks written here, but I like to put my numbers above the rest. You can put them in the blanks if you'd like with a parentheses. Either way works. So as I'm counting that line, let's do measure by measure just so that you can get really used to counting 8th notes in quarter time. Whenever I have my first quarter note, 1, my 2/8 notes, the first one falls on the downbeat, second one falls on the upbeat, 3 is my quarter note, 4 and. All right, so let's count and clap that first measure together. Ready and go. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1. Okay, and then we'll go to the next measure. All right, you see how 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1. The quarter notes or the downbeats remain consistent in tempo. All right, the second measure, quarter note on 1, quarter note on 2, 2/8 notes is 3 and 4. So count the second measure. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. See how I say and between those beats? Okay, I can clap it. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, are you tapping your foot? You really should tap your foot on each one of the downbeats. In the third measure, I rest on 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's do that together. Ready, go. Rest, 2, 3, and 4. And then the last measure I have 2/8 notes, which is 1 and, 2/8 notes, which is 2 and, 3 on a quarter note, rest on count 4. Do the last measure. Ready and count. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. All right, so we're going to count and clap all the way through this line. without stopping. Whenever you get to a bar line, just keep going. The downbeats remain consistent. 1, 2, ready and go. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. Rest. 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3. Rest. Sorry, I had to swallow there for a second. Okay, so if you did it correctly, great, go on. If you did not get it all the way through correctly, stop the video, go back and make sure that you understand it by either watching the video again or just kind of working through it on your own, and then clap and count that again with me. All right, let's move on. Line number 2. Notice I'm in 2/4 time, so I'm only going to have 2 beats per measure. Anytime I have 2 eighth notes, first one is on the downbeat, second one is on the upbeat. I wrote an and. Okay, 1 and 2 and bar line. 1, 2, bar line. 1 and 2 and bar line. Half note is 1, 2. So this is not on 3. I have a bar line. 1, 2 and bar line. 1 and 2. It's getting tricky, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's not a 3. 2 is where my bar line is, so the bar line is going to be in the center of the tie. So this last one will be count 2, all right, because here is 1. And then at the end, a double bar line. All right, so let's do the whole line, clapping and counting, very slow tempo together. 1 and 2 and ready, go. 1 and 2 and 1, 2. 1 and 2 and 1. 1, 2 and 1 and 2. 1, 2. All right. So again, if you can do it with me, great, go on. If you can't, stop the video, rewind it, or just work on it on your own. All right, let's finish up here. Line number 3. We are in 3/4 time. So 1 and 2, 3, bar line. 1 and 2 and 3, bar line. 1, 2 above, 3, bar line. Dotted half notes get 1, 2, 3 counts, bar line. Half notes get 2 counts, so that will be 1, 2. This is 3. 1 and 2 and 3, bar line. 1, 2, 3, double bar line. All right, so I went through that very fast. Again, if you can't keep up with me, stop the video or pause the video and finish that off. Make sure you get all the right counts in. Don't just copy me. Make sure that you're understanding how all this goes. Now let's go through this entire line. I think you can do it without breaking down each measure. Here we go. 3 counts per measure. 1 and 2, ready, go. 1 and 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1, rest. 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1. Stop. Okay? Let's try that one a little faster just to see if you can keep up with me. Okay? Hopefully you understand it at least. You've got all of the right counts in under the notes and you understand how the rhythms work. It might take just a little bit of time to get used to clapping and counting. All right? Let's try it faster tempo. 1 and 2, ready, go. 1 and 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so there was a lot that we did with our eighth notes, okay? If you're a percussionist and you're part of the way through the drum book, you probably, this is no big deal, but if you're a wind player or if you haven't spent a lot of time learning rhythms, this might take a little bit of time. So go slow, Put your metronome on, make sure that you're tapping your foot, and then work through each one of those lines individually and get it perfect before you move on to the next lesson.